Hey, Battle Built here with another video, and today we're getting into some more Great League Go Battle League battles. Alright, so past couple videos we focused around fighters. That wasn't really intentional, but it happened that way. So to keep that theme going, I've got what I call a fake fighter for today's video, Excavalier. Now, the reason why I call it a fake fighter is because it is not a fighting type Pokemon. It's Bug and Steel, and it has access to the quick move of Counter, which is a fighting type quick move. So that's the main, anything that is not actually fighting type that has access to that move, I just consider a fake fighter. Defense Deoxys is a fake fighter to me. Vigoroth is a fake fighter to me. But anyhow, moving on, I wanted to try out something new. I want to just play around with some stuff. I hope you guys don't mind that. Hopefully, as I produce these videos and I show potentially some weird mons, we can find it educational, maybe find a diamond in the rough, maybe realize why stuff just doesn't belong in the meta, and I hope the battles are still exciting enough for you guys to enjoy. I've definitely still been having success with Double Mud Boys, and I still haven't really locked down a new Great League team to have success with, so I've really just been messing around with the open Season 3 meta, and I hope you guys are cool with me just showing you whatever I've been playing with, because the battles are what have me the most excited, and I am super hyped to share them with you guys. When I lock something down, when I start making my rank 10 push, because it's obviously not happening in the first part of Great League, but when I lock teams down, I will make sure I share them with you. Until then, I will be messing around with stuff, and hopefully we find something cool. Today's video is going to be focused around Escavalier. Let's see how much play it has in Great League. It typically has most of its play in Ultra League, so before we get into the battles, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Now let's go check out Escavalier. Now, let's talk about what I paired Escavalier with. Its two main meta weaknesses are Azumarill and Skarmory, so I decided to back up Escavalier with Bastiodon to essentially handle potential Skarmories, and Bastiodon's matchup against Azumarill isn't the worst, especially because a lot of people are starting to run Ice Beam Play Rough on their Azumarills instead of Hydro Pump, so that helps. I also am running Cresselia, which would deal with the Azumarill for the most part, and doesn't have the best matchup against Skarmory because everything it's going to throw will be resisted due to Skarmory Steel typing, but Bastiodon will be the main tank that I'm hoping to line up with Skarmory's. Plus, Escavalier's matchup against it isn't the worst thing in the world, so it could counter away it, maybe do some chip damage and whatnot, potentially play out that matchup if I run into it in the lead. So getting into this first match, I forgot how things just went, but I did take down a Haunter with my Bastiodon, and Azumarill is coming in. I'm throwing a Smackdown. I was able to overfarm. I know I completely smacked down the Haunter in that situation, so I'm hoping that before I get bubbled down, I'm going to be able to throw another Stone Edge. I do get to it, and honestly, everything is lined up the way I wanted to. I don't remember what leads were. Oh, I think I had Escavalier on a Registeel lead in this match. I'm pretty sure. So now I can just bring in Cresselia, even though I'm down in shields. Cresselia can tank Azu's moves. It can tank Hydro Pump pretty well. So I'm going to let this first charge move come through. Most likely going to end up being a Hydro Pump. It is a Hydro Pump. You see it only does about a third of Cresselia's health. And I'm able to get to these Grass Knots very quickly. So I overcharged a bit because I knew how well Cresselia could outpace Azumarill. And this will either take out the Azu or get my opponent's first shields, which is what it got. And I'm expecting another charge move to come through relatively soon, right here. So now I'm going to let it come through, because even if it's another Hydro Pump, I can still survive it, and we're at equal shielding situations. I'm able to also just barely get that Grass Knot in. Luckily, quick moves went through the way they were supposed to, and I get the last shield, so I bring in my Excavalier to try and farm down, but they swapped in their Registeel right away, and at this point, it's GG. I have shield advantage now, and Excavalier definitely handles Registeel in like all shielding situations, because Registeel will only be able to throw charge moves for neutral damage, which means Escavalier can tank whatever's being thrown. This end up being Focus Blast, and then my counters and drill runs are all doing super effective damage, and my opponent decides to quit from there. Now that we've gone through the first match and we've talked about Escavalier's weaknesses a little bit, let's talk about its strengths. Opposing Steel types. Because of the fact that it has access to that counter and drill run, it can essentially fend off other Steel types like this leading Melmetal with both of those super effective moves. One being a fast move, one being a charge move. Melmetal throwing a charge move here. This will most likely be a superpower because it will deal neutral damage. It is a Steel type, but it's also a Bug type. So that Bug typing allows fighting type moves to essentially deal neutral damage to Escavalier. So I was able to survive that, and I ended up leaving the situation with a good chunk of energy. I'm now throwing Grass Knot that lands on the Azumarill because my opponent decided to swap out since that superpower debuffed their Melmetal. Now, they're going for another charge move. I decide to shield because it's most likely going to be a Hydro Pump, and I want to make sure I maintain switch advantage here. Now that I've caught the big move, even though we're getting a little bit of lag, I know I can throw this Grass Knot, and I can keep switch advantage whether they decide they want to use a shield, or if they decide not to shield their Azumarill at all at this point. So, got the Azu in the red there, and I'm just going to over farm. Oh, actually, no, I go straight for the Grass Knot. I was going to over farm because I was expecting them to get to the next charge move already, but because of the fact that they just didn't throw, I was like, forget it, let's throw Grass Knot, let's keep a majority of Cresselia's health and see how they decide they want to play it out from there. They bring their Melmetal back in, and I'm not too worried about the Melmetal because we're in Great League and not in Ultra League. We both don't tank each other's moves as well, and because it already chucked its energy at my Excavalier, I can throw that Moonblast and essentially get it in the red, which definitely does more damage than it would have done in an Ultra League battle. So now they're getting to their charge move. This will definitely be a Rock Slide because, oh no, Thunderbolt. I forgot that was a weird moveset to me. I forgot they were running Superpower and Thunderbolt. I'm not sure. I guess if you want to run Melmetal in Great League to deal with the Azus, if you want to have Superpower also. I don't know. That definitely just completely caught me off guard. Either way, Cresselia was able to tank it, and then they swapped in their Skarmory. I brought in my Bastiodon, and that ended that match. That's how we take care of opposing Skarmories. So, I'm off to a 2-0 start in this set. That means Excavalier's OP, right? Not quite. I won both those leads. Let's see what happens in this third match where I don't exactly win lead. I have Excavalier on a Rainy Castform. And honestly, at first, I didn't know how this matchup played out because, like, how often you see Rainy Castforms versus Excavaliers. But because of Rainy Castform's bulk and the fact that Weather Ball is a pretty cheap move to get to, we're essentially getting to charge moves around the same time. The Castform can eat the Drill Run, whereas I really can't eat these Water Guns. They're also over farming, trying to trick me so that I use a shield, and then they throw another Weather Ball, and then I have to use both of my shields. So I let the first one go through, they Water Gun me down, and once I bring in Cresselia, you'll see how quickly they get to another Weather Ball. It was not worth using the shield, so Excavalier definitely loses that lead matchup against Rainy Castform. Lessons learned there. Rainy Castform counters Excavalier apparently, and at this point Castform's health is so low that I'm trying to commit to a Cycle Cut down. They get to another Weather Ball, which I really don't mind too much. It puts me in the yellow. I still have about a third of my health, but now I'm like at 100 energy, so now we're going to see what they counter my Cresselia with. Ends up being a Sableye. I throw a Grass Knot right away. Kind of forgot my typings, but they also had 2 shields, so I expected them to shield. They didn't shield. I know I need to get Cresselia out. I bring in Bastiodon, and they have the hardest possible counter to my Bastiodon in the back. They have a Shadow Machamp. It's mauling the heck out of my Bastiodon right now. I'm lucky I'm able to get off one charge move here, so this will essentially threaten the Machamp shields. So now I have shield advantage, but the Machamp has a bunch of energy. My opponent decides to throw right away, and they're going to end up going for a Rock Slide here. I end up shielding. Let's wait for it to come through. They were probably better off going for the Cross Chop because they probably could have gotten off 2 before I essentially go for this Grass Knot. But if they wanted to shield, they probably could have got to another charge move. They didn't. The Machamp goes down. But if they threw the Cross Chop, it would have essentially threatened both of my shields. Didn't really matter, though. They have a whole Sableye in the back with a bunch of health and a shield, whereas my Cresselia does not have a lot of health, and it has a shield, too. But they shield the Moonblast this time. I was hoping maybe, you know, they forgot I had Moonblast, but they didn't, and they Shadow Clawed me down and took that match. Everything lined up very nicely for them there, so those are some weaknesses to this team right there. Alright, getting into this fourth match of this set, got an Excavalier on and a Azumarill lead here. I know, again, like I said, from checking all the statistics and sims, Excavalier loses this lead, but I want to just test the waters a little bit, see how much damage Excavalier can do. I'm new to the team, don't want to jump into my safe swap immediately, so I go for this Drill Run. It gets the Azumarill to like about 3rd health. I throw a couple counters, try to catch a charge move. Did not work. At least Azumarill's now at half health, but then they hard counter my Cresselia with an Umbreon. Cresselia does have access to Moonblast though, so it helps in this situation where it's getting hard countered by a Dark type, and it does do about 1/3 of Umbreon's health, but the Umbreon will outpace me to the charge moves, and its Foul Play will be dealing super effective damage back to my Cresselia. So I let the first one go through, puts me in the yellow. I'm getting really close to the second one, but they built up 2 of them because they're outpacing me, and I end up shielding this because I want to make sure I get off my Moonblast here, and I really didn't want to get snarled down. I wanted to shield one, so they snarled a little bit more, and then Foul Play to hopefully take me out. That was my logic. I get the next Moonblast off, so that's 2 of them. Gets the Umbreon on the red, and I'm hoping I can try to get to the Grass Knot. They must have overcharged because I was able to. This should threaten the shield because I don't think they want to give me switch advantage. So it did threaten the shield, and they went for another charge move here. You notice I pulled up my switch clock. It's because what I want to do now that Umbreon's low is I want to try and swap quick into Escavalier and counter it down before they can think about swapping. I almost did, but then they swapped to their Machamp, and I've seen this line before. I ran this line in the video a little while ago. I wonder if they watch my videos. I mean, I didn't like make it popular or anything. I used it once. But I wish I had a Charmer here, because a Charmer was a huge weakness to that team. Right now, my current team is not a weakness to their team. They're beating me with it. So I bring in Machamp hoping they'll chuck their energy. They don't. This Machamp is fully loaded. Bastiodon does not want to see a fully loaded Machamp. I let this charge move go through because I was curious how much a cross chop did, and that's more than half the health. So I just quit. I give up. I didn't have a chance there. Things did not line up nicely there either. I like Cresselia as a safe swap, but unfortunately, Defense Deoxys has gotten really popular as a safe swap, so people are bringing their Umbreons and their Sableyes to essentially counter that safe swap. So when Excavalier is losing lead, Cresselia is not exactly able to flip those matchups. But here is a popular win that Excavalier has, and it's against Galarian Stunfisk. These counters are dealing super effective damage. The drill run I'm going to get to is going to deal super effective damage. Galarian Stunfisk can only deal neutral damage to Excavalier through either Rock Slide or Earthquake, but you do have to watch out for the Earthquake because as much as it's neutral, Excavalier's Glassy and it's gonna hurt. So I shield this. This ends up being a Rock Slide, so I'm like, alright, they baited me. But we're kind of equal on shields at this point, and I'm pretty close to the next drill run. They're going for another charge move. I want to win out this matchup because I got baited, so I end up shielding the Earthquake that comes through, and I know I can win this now, and they end up swapping in Defense Deoxys, and this is another positive of Excavalier as this fake fighter. It's a fake fighter that can deal super effective damage to Psychic types that usually counter Fighting type Pokemon. So that Defense Deoxys, you saw how much that Mega Horn just did to it. Did a great chunk, and the Excavalier is not the Excavalier, their Galarian Stunfisk is practically dead too. So Cresselia doesn't have to worry too much. I can overfarm here, get to 2 Grass Knots. This will take out the Defense Deoxys, or potentially grab a shield if they want to throw another charge move, which I doubt. Takes it out, and they bring Galarian Stunfisk here. The next Grass Knot's going to take that out too. But they bring in Hypno, and I'm like, interesting. If they would have swapped in either of them, that Mega Horn would have hurt both of them a lot. I land that Moonblast, and I'm just going to play out the situation, keep things lined up the way they are, because I don't want Galarian Stunfisk lined up with my Bastiodon. So I go to a Grass Knot here. It gets their last shield, and I'm just going to build up to another Moonblast, but they get to a charge move. This is most likely a punch, even though one of my recent videos I was talking about somebody running their Shadow Hypno with Shadow Ball. Most people are only running it with the punches. They pull off a nice swap there, but they don't really want to catch a Grass Knot on a Galarian Stunfisk. It just takes it out. I have a whole Bastiodon on the back. Their Hypno cannot do anything to my Bastiodon. They decide to quit out the match, and I go 3-2 in a set with Excavalier, so that worked out pretty nicely. So overall, that set and the team was pretty straightforward. When I won lead, I won the match. When I lost lead, I lost the match. I feel like for that reason, I'm going to give this team a 5 out of 10. I don't think it's like a team that's blowing away anything, but I do think it could have play and could win you matches like I showed you there. Excavalier is pretty glassy, but then Bastiodon and Cresselia back it up well with all their tankiness. And then Cresselia as a safe swap, I do believe has more play than what it showed, but the issue is Defense Deoxys and Hypno are getting so popular. People are bringing their Sableyes and their Umbreons to essentially counter that. Now, Excavalier as a Pokemon in the Great League meta reminds me a little bit of Toxicroak, but like in a different niche. Toxicroak's a fighter that can kind of like deal with a Azumarill, whereas like the rest of the fighters can't. Excavalier is not really a fighter, but it has counter, again, fake fighter, that can deal with like psychic types because it would resist the psychic damage, and then has Mega Horn to deal super effective damage. Definitely has more play in Ultra League, 100% agree, but let me know what you think about Excavalier in Great League. Let me know what you thought about the team, and also let me know if you like seeing me try these really random Pokemon and checking to see if they have any type of play in Go Battle League. I promise you, when I settle on a newer team other than Double Mud Boys that I'm feeling consistent with in Great League or in Ultra League, I will be bringing you that meta content without a doubt, but I'm hoping you guys like this spice too because I had a lot of fun doing these battles. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video.